Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining me on the porch again, everybody. Man, I love the summer season. I get to have drinking sessions out here and review whiskeys with all of you while sitting on my porch, being surrounded by wilderness. It is lovely. You know, it actually looks like I'm being surrounded by wilderness, but really, the neighbors are like right behind these trees. These trees do so much more for my backyard on video than what it actually is, but I love it out here. Today, we are going to be walking through probably my most disappointing whiskey of the year. I am so sad, everybody. Like, we're just going to go through this together. Just be there for me. Support me through this. Let's review the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye. Oh, my. I'm really hoping that this tasting turns things around for me. Maybe being out here in this beautiful weather will be the magic sauce that makes me like this pour. But man, I've given it so many chances. But let's break it down. I'll give you all my thoughts, and let's see how it sits at the end of this. Thank you for joining me today, whiskey friends. Let's kick off the show. Pour my taste in here. And my hello again, whiskey friend Glenn. Let's see if I can get that thing to zoom in on the logo. Did it. Yes. Just got to cover the eyes. Look at that. I love these things. These things are so cool. It's so fun just to see it, manifest itself into reality eventually, guys. That's the funnest part about all this. Now, with today's whiskey review, so we are going to go over the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye. My single barrel here is 132.7 proof. I got this from a Northern Kentucky store, and I was so excited. So I had just underneath the points that I needed to buy this, because this was at a store that had a point system. I hadn't seen one of these yet. So I bought a Old Route 8, which I did a review on recently as well. I bought the Old Route 8 that would put me over the edge so that I could then buy the Jack Daniel. So I had to do two transactions. I was so excited. I mean, the original release, the heritage versions of those single barrel ryes, it's one of my best ryes of all time. I have been praying and waiting for the day for them to finally start releasing these in single barrels. And oh, man, this one's just not hitting for me, but we'll see. We'll give it a fresh set of downs. We'll go through the tasting today. The scores are in the system. It is what it is. But maybe today's the day that this thing is going to turn around for me. But, man, I also did a head-to-head. I'm not going to do it on today's video. I did a head-to-head with the Heritage. I mean, there's just no comparison, no relationship. Doesn't even make sense that they are cousins in any way, shape, or form. Oy vey. But let's get into it. We're going to break down the nose, we'll break down the palate, and then at the end, we'll get into the final scores. Thank you for joining me today, whiskey friends. Cheers. All right, let's get into the nose. Oh, gosh, that thing's hot. It's so hot. If you watch me do blinds and you watch me do things on the live shows, you know that I'm usually not affected by proof. So when I'm like backing off the glass, it must be hot. Oh, it's so hot. So, okay. I actually just had a realization. This plays through what I've been thinking on this one anyway. Because I think I just got a funky single barrel, guys. Like, I really do. I think I just had a funky single barrel. The thing that it just reminded me of, and it didn't do this before, but it makes sense in retrospect, was a Old Forester rye a little bit. Now, that might be complimentary because I really like this nose as we get into it, but it doesn't make me think of the Jack Daniel's Heritage single barrel. The profile is totally different on this thing. This particular single barrel just makes no sense to me. Oh, gosh, it's so hot. Gosh, I got to remember that. Like, stop putting my schnoz in the glass so deep. The flavors are there, though. I mean, this nose kicks butt. Just straight up. It's so fruity And it's got this malty aspect to it too, but there's raspberries, there's mangoes, there's melons, a whole bunch of things I usually don't call out on ryes. So this nose on this rye is really, really good. So when you see the final scores, just know it did not lose many points on the nose. This nose is really good. There's also the powdered sugar and a fried dough element to it, like a fried donut. There's a little bit of a white pepper that kind of balances it a little bit, so you get a little sweet and the spice. A lot of caramel reduction, and even a what's it, asparras, or what do they say that? The word escapes me, but like a root beer type of sensation. That's on there too. I mean, this nose is really, really good. I know it's hot, but man, there are some flavors to dig at. Like, I could just sit here all day with this nose. This is that good of a nose. Oh man, that's good. Man, that's hot, but it's good. All right, let's go in for a taste. Mm-hmm. All right, we'll break it down together. So starting out up front, it actually comes across kind of muted, which is very, very surprising. There's a darkness to it, a brown sugar. Oh man, here, I'll see if I can block that sun as we go in here. There we go. Sorry for blinding everybody. Of course, it hits the blind spot there in the leaves. Jeez. But brown sugar, some cinnamon. Oh, maybe a hint of the fruits that I've been talking about on the nose, but it's real muted. It doesn't give a whole lot. The mouth feels all right. Nothing to really complain about or elevate when it comes to the mouthfeel, despite the proof. It actually doesn't look all that oily even on the glass, which is surprising. Comes across a little bit there, but you'd think it'd be richer and oilier. See, it's that funkiness. It comes across as a malted rye. I didn't make the old Forester equivalents in my head until this tasting. I didn't do the same in my notes, but it comes across as a malted rye to me, even something Driftless Glen like, which makes no sense to me. I thought this was a barely legal rye, if I remember correctly. There's even that blood orange note that I typically get from a malted rye product. It just doesn't come across as the Jack Daniels. Notice I'm not even saying anything about bananas. There's no bananas on this thing. There is no bananas on this Jack Daniels. This is an off-profile single barrel. It has to be. I just got bad luck. The other thing mid-palate, I mentioned it on the nose, that fried dough, the donut, not a glazed donut or like a cinnamon-covered donut per se. It's just the fried donut part of it. Maybe with like a glaze. Like I said, did I just say glazed? Yeah. And then there's a sweetness there. It does have a powdered sugar sensation, so that continues to play through. All right, this is where it starts stacking on me each sip, and then I tend to like it a little less and less. So that's my reaction there. Let's go for the finish, though. Oh, man. Oh, the finish is really, really drying, I think, because of the high proof. The flavors are mostly consistent with mid-palate, but the mango does pick up, the mango that I was getting on the nose. And then the finish is just all rye spice. It is all rye spice. Punch you in the throat rye spice. Like, see the Steven Seagal kind of 80s movie, punching somebody in the throat. I don't even remember if Steven Seagal actually did that, but that's the first person that came to my mind, punching people in throats for whatever reason. Oh, man. I know, I just don't like it. You can tell. I always wear it on my face. Oh, I'm so disappointed. It's supposed to be so good. I've been waiting so long for this. All right, let's get to the scores. So here on the channel, we do have a 3-tier scoring system, whole bunch of metrics behind the scenes, but ultimately it breaks down into a flavor score, an experience score, and a value score. Flavor score is just how enjoyable it was every step of the way. You know, up front, the nose was amazing, and then there's diminishing returns that are still hitting me now. The experience score, 50% of the score is about the experience. That's about the mouthfeel, about the complexity, about the balance. And then value, you know, am I happy about the price paid? I mean, technically I only paid $80 for this, but then technically I also paid $200 for this if you count the cost of the old Route 8 that I also bought, because that was the thing at the store that would put me over the price limit. So that's actually better though. That one's better. If you see that review, that's a better pour. So I won for the day. I at least won for the day. So that gives it a score of 75 when it's all said and done. That puts it at a very good pour, quote unquote. Recommend, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I mean, I just don't believe, I think I just got a weird one. That's what I think happened. I think I got a weird one. It happens. It's single barrels. We know that. Not every Jack Daniel's single barrel proof that I've gotten has necessarily been an outright hitter as well. I think the hype on this one was just so high that I wanted it to be a winner straight off the bat, and I just got a odd off-profile single barrel, most likely. So with that said, do I plan to buy another? Yeah, I plan to buy another. Now, I put an asterisk on that. I did put an if on that. I don't think I'll buy another, like, regular shelfer version. I'm only going to buy a pick that's coming from a group. I think that's going to be the thing that distinguishes whether I buy another Jack Daniel's barrel-proof single barrel rye. If somebody picks it, especially if I know them, I'll probably go all in. But otherwise, I think I'm going to leave the shelfers on the shelf after this one, because this just does not hit it at all. I'm so sad. I'm crying. That's not sweat. That's cry. That's cry. I'm not crying. It's just been raining on my face. All right. Well, thank you for joining me again, whiskey friends, for another whiskey review. Let me know in the comments, have you had one of these single barrel ryes? And what did you think? Did you like it? Were you disappointed like me? Did you get a dud? What was your proof? I need all of this information because I am so very curious and so very disappointed now. Well, thank you for joining me today, everybody. I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye, whiskey friends.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends.